Good morning and welcome. Happy Monday. I hope you all had a great weekend. I'm Joe Jaquin, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group, and our toll-free number, 800-951-0592. I am texting and talking. My phone is blowing up. The website, allamericangold.com. And I had a great weekend. You know, I played golf with Homer. A lot of you remember my buddy Homer. He worked here for a while. It's always good to catch up with him. Places are packed. You know, I feel like Arizona's back. You know, I don't see the bars really doing the restriction thing. You know, my wife and I went and had breakfast yesterday. And there was, usually, the tables were blocked and this, and they didn't have anything blocked. They didn't have anything blocked at all. The golf courses are packed. The week before, I told you the casino was packed. And, yeah, so I feel great about it. It's good to see people want to go out. Kids going to school. I know other places not as much, but here – it just feels like everything's booming again, and it's just great. I mean, people seem a lot happier. Excuse me, I got something stuck in my throat there. And we just had a great weekend. My wife and I went out on Saturday night, just the two of us. You forget to do that stuff sometimes. We had a great time. It's so funny is I got to go to bed. Like, it was like 11:30, and I'm like, okay, let's go. I'm done. And she's like, what? She likes to, when she goes, she doesn't go out very often. When she goes out, she wants to go out. And I'm like, no, I need to go to bed. But it was a great weekend. I hope all of you had a great weekend. Things are starting to warm up, defrost. Our wholesaler in Texas, they're back online. FedEx is catching up, stuff that's supposed to be there overnight. I had a package that was supposed to be here last Thursday. It's going to get here today. From FedEx, but it was in Texas, but they're saying things are getting better, so hopefully things are improving out there. Lot of action today. The bond market, a little relief today, and everyone's breathing a sigh of relief. Wall Street's up big, gold's up, silver's up, crude oil's up, everything's up today. So let's hope that continues. Don't forget our CBD products, 1360khnc.com. We're still, it's incredible the way things have changed anymore. We're still waiting on approval on these 4 products. I'm hoping it's going to be today. I mean, they always tell us 48 to 72 hours, and here we are on day. Well, I guess we submitted them late Sunday night, so they've had them a whole week plus today now. As soon as they're approved, we'll have 4 more products up there. I got great feedback, and we can't make these medical claims. I can just tell you the feedback we're getting. Brooke, who works for us here in our Phoenix office, she sent the 1,000 milligram tincture to her father. And he takes it at night because, sleeping's tough for him. And he told Brooke, he goes, it's the best thing I've ever taken. He goes, but the problem is I don't even make it off the couch. I'm sound asleep. So Brooke gave him some great advice. I got a great idea, Dad. How about you go up to your bedroom and then take it there? But it does all kinds of different things. Like I take it in the morning, the 1,000 milligram tincture in the morning. And I do it, because you guys know my knee needs to be replaced. I got my neck and all that. So it's more of a pain thing for me. And then when I do my activities, I bowl on Tuesday, pickleball on Thursday. I like to golf on the weekend. Then I double up, and then I also like to take the salve or the lotion, and mostly with my knee and my neck. I rub them on those areas before I go out and do physical, whatever activity it is that I'm going to attempt to do. But it's just incredible. A lot of people telling us they take the salve for anxiety and that they're rubbing it on their forehead and on their face and just all kinds of different things. We're working on trying to get the My Kind guys, the scientist, if you will, behind the My Kind CBD. We're working on it. They're down for it. We're going to do a half-hour CBD special. I believe on a Saturday is the time we're shooting for. If you have some questions about for them, feel free to reach out. Contact, the word contact, at 1360khnc.com, and we'll pose those questions to these guys. We're hoping to have this done in the next couple of weeks because everyone's asked all kinds of questions, and these guys will be able to answer them all and answer all your questions. But the most important thing is it's the quality of the product is off the charts. It's all here in the U.S., all done in Colorado, and it all supports the radio station, and My Kind is a big part of that, and the price is the best. There you go. So there's my spiel for today. Another great testimonial. This one from Brooke's father. Best thing he's ever taken. It works a little too well for him when he wants to go to sleep at night. 800-951-0592. When we get back, we'll talk about the bond market. We'll talk about the stimulus update. And what else is the Federal Reserve up to? Patriot Radio News Hour. Don't touch that dial. So we had the big sell-off last week. The bond market had a little hiccup. And of course, we know why. But this is exactly what I was hoping for. Over the weekend, cooler heads would prevail. I'm sure Jay Powell and Janet Yellen were very busy making phone calls, telling the bankers to get behind the bond market and try to calm everything down. It's worked to perfection. Like I said, everything is up today. The Dow's up like 600 points, almost 700 points now. The 10-year note is down to 143. So still high, but, think about it. I mean, we were like 1.6 on Friday, so things are a little bit better. The Democrats, the House, passed the $1.9 trillion stimulus. And there's a lot of talk behind this. This is a bailout for blue states and teachers' unions. A lot more than it is anything to do with COVID. I mean, that's as simple as you can put it. I mean, we're going to bail out some pension funds. We're going to bail out some cities. We're going to bail out some states. The states, right? I don't need to tell them to you, but I will, right? It's going to help California. It's going to help Illinois. It's going to help New York. It's going to help New Jersey. I mean, they're going to get the bulk of the money. The actual amount of money that's going to be spent on actual COVID-related issues, like, let's say, unemployment, right? Hey, you lost your job because of COVID, right? And I'll use the easiest example I can think of. You worked at Disneyland, right? Still not open, right? Well, we can give you some money. We can help you until it does open. Things of that nature. Very little. Very little. Matter of fact, I would probably say maybe 500 billion of the approximately 2 trillion is going to stuff like that, PPP loans and things of that nature. The rest of it is just nothing but a lot of giveaways. It's a lot of spending, and again, it's most of the spending, most of it, all of it really, is spending where we don't gain anything. That's the worst kind. Right? This is solely to plug holes. Even for like the unemployed people, you're just plugging a hole. the businesses that are going to get money, you're just plugging a hole, but we're not actually getting any production out of it. And this is why the bond market's getting worried, right? The bond market knows inflation is coming, right? And all of this spending that's going on, but neither here nor there. The Democrats in the House passed it, and this was completely partisan. Not one Republican in the House of Representatives voted for the bill, and only 2 Democrats voted against it. Most people are saying that if this is going to be the 5150 deal, that it's going to get to the Senate now. They're dropping. I guess here's the big giveaway, if you will, for the Democrat. Okay, we're not going to put the $15 minimum wage thing in it. That's what they're willing to do, I guess. But this is setting up to be a 5150 deal with Kamala Harris essentially casting the winning vote for the Democrats. Lawmakers also thinking about things like a payroll tax later. So we're starting to hear different things that are happening out in this bill. One of the things they're talking about, what they're calling Plan B. This is the Senate Finance Chair, a Democrat from Oregon, and the Senate Budget Chair, Bernie Sanders. Right? Does anyone see a problem with that? But again, listen, Bernie Sanders gets it because he's been there that long, and he got put on that committee, and now he's the senior member. Bernie Sanders in charge of the Senate Budget Committee. I mean, it's just, but what do? They want to punish billion-dollar corporations that don't pay workers enough using various tax incentives, things like this. Listen, there's going to be something. They may not put the $15 minimum wage in there, but there's talk that they're going to do something else. Hey, if you don't pay your workers what we want, there's going to be some type of a penalty. Lawmakers were saying a 5% levy on big corporations' total payroll if any workers earn less than $15 an hour. Now, I don't know where the line's drawn. You know, it says $billion. Well, it says, in this one, it says big corporation. So I'm assuming that's just saying, hey, if you've got X amount of employees, but I'm not sure. Is it by profit? Who knows, right? But either way, if they don't get the 15, they're talking about putting a penalty there. Listen, all these corporations are going to do, they haven't figured it out yet. They just lay people off. That's their answer. Okay, you're making me pay $15. We're going to lay a few people off and get the same amount of work done with less people. And I know this. You know, back before I started doing this is going back a ways now, I used to be a district manager for a supermarket chain. And labor, and I'm just telling you, labor is big. It was big in the 90s. It was big in the 80s, the 70s. It's big today. And, I'll use my brother as another great example. He works for a communications company that owns 130 plus now. They keep buying them. It's incredible. 130 plus TV stations. And he oversees, I think he oversees like 40 of them. It's a lot. And I'm like, well, what do you do? And he even said, well, there's issues with this or that or the other, as far as making sure they're playing the right stuff when they're supposed to. And they do a lot of trading in TV and all this other stuff. And of course, labor. But he says labor. profits. That's what we care about. My company, it was very simple back when I was doing this. They took it, your payroll in the supermarkets business was a percentage of sales, period. And the store manager's job was to budget accordingly. And if in the middle of the week sales were coming in light, start cutting payroll, right? That was kind of how it was. And they all do. Listen, at the beginning of the month, they could beef it up because the EBT money came in. And at the end of the month, right, you got to skinny it down because people were out of money. It didn't matter what the wage was. It's not like these companies, and I'm telling you, it's not like, the minimum wage is 15. Let's add hours. No. The percentage is going to stay the same, and they're going to tell the story, hey, figure it out. Just ask Best Buy. They figured it out. Oh, we had to pay more money. Well, let's start eliminating jobs. And that's just what they're going to do. And I don't understand how of course, none of these people have actually run a business. They don't run a business. They've worked for government their whole life. But yeah, this looks like the only thing that I see not in the bill is the $15. But now the Senate is talking about, and of course Bernie Sanders behind it. If we're not going to do the $15, they want some type of a penalty for businesses that the big business that doesn't pay their employees at least $15 an hour. I don't think that's going to make it. I hope it doesn't. It's bad legislation. Once again, too much government. Too much government. And it's killing everything. And you think what happened, and I know a lot of people don't understand what happened Thursday and Friday. Most people don't even know it happened. And I'm talking about what happened in the bond market. We've had actually in the last, 60 days or so, 2 different things happen that almost caused disaster on Wall Street. We don't want that. Listen, believe it or not, people, don't get me wrong. I don't want Wall Street to go back to 20,000. I don't. I want Wall Street to keep going up. I'd love for housing to keep going up. I mean, but we know it can't, but we'd like to. But I'm talking to how close we came to unraveling it all. That whole thing with GameStop and AMC, that almost destroyed Wall Street. Listen, the reason why Robinhood did what they did was nothing more than the Citadel, who really owns them, whether you like to admit that or not, telling them, hey, don't allow trades. Because it's going to have the same, that daisy chain effect, that cascading effect of this hedge fund's going under, which causes that hedge fund to go under, which causes another. You see what I'm saying? One after the other, after the other, after the other. Same thing with what happened in the bond market. Wall Street was only down, 1,100 points? I mean, it wasn't that bad. When you think about, hey, the Dow's 30,000, it's not that bad. It's a lot, but it's not that bad. But the problem was, how much worse could it have been? And somebody out there is finally starting to figure out if the 10-year note, so let's just call the 10-year note at 1.5%. It's actually 1.43, but let's just say 1.5. If it went back to just under the 100-year historical average. 5.5%. So think about it here. We're at 1.5. And we're talking about going to 5.5%. That would cause the interest on the debt at $28 trillion to rise by $1.5 trillion. Now, why is that important? The government only collects from taxes. And I'm telling you all of them. Not just the payroll tax, not just your income tax, all taxes, corporations, you name it, death tax, this tax, estate tax, any other tax you can think of. The federal government only brings in, and I say only, $3 trillion. And at the before COVID, it was about $3.3 trillion, just to give some texture to this. Just the 10-year note going close. It's actually under its 100-year historical average, but just getting to 5.5% would eat up half of all taxes collected by the federal government just in an interest payment. 800-951-0592. So when you think about why do I want to invest in gold and silver, that's really the big one, the bond market, because it affects us in so many different ways. You know, you think about going to 5.5%, which right now, boy, that seems unthinkable, doesn't it? It really does. But go back to August of 2007. The 10-year note was actually over 7%. How about 2000? I know this one really well. The interest rate on my house that my wife and I bought, we were at 7.25%. I'm just talking about going back to 5.5%. Which is at 5.5%, you're probably going to pay about 7.25% on a house, on a mortgage. It would add another 1.5 trillion. And you got to remember, the number's already old. It's already old. In a couple of weeks, we're going to have to add another couple trillion. Right? What's a couple more trillion? And think about it. We're already spending about $500 million on interest. So that would really be about $2 trillion. And we only collect 3. And of course, got to remember, most of that we collect is via the payroll tax, which that money goes right back out. Talking about Social Security and Medicare. It's the calm before the storm. And we are resourceful. We are. There's no doubt about it. I loved Warren Buffett. You know, I love Warren Buffett. No. Has he been good for America? We can debate that. A lot of people say he's the greatest investor that's ever lived. I mean, buying companies with other people's money, I don't know that makes you a great American. But again, we can debate that. But he's well known. Everybody knows his name. And he was out over the weekend saying, hey, I'll never bet against America. And he's right. He's absolutely right. But this is why I think you need to bet on gold and silver, because this is what is betting for America. That's my opinion. Warren Buffett believes differently. Right? Warren Buffett likes to what? He likes to buy debt. He loves debt. He's become, well, I don't know what number he is now. For a long time, he was the richest person in the world. He's not anymore, but I think he's still top 5. I know he's top 10. He's ahead of the Waltons. I know that. The Walmart heirs. And I know you got Bezos and Musk and Zuckerberg, obviously Gates. I think they're all ahead of him, but he's in the top 10. And really, this is the situation we're facing. And I love, day to day and short term. We talk about it because it's, part of the show. What did gold do today? What did silver do today? And really what we need to understand is what's going to happen tomorrow, 6 months, a year, 5 years, 10 years. Right? What's going to happen? And when you look at, let's take the last 10 years. Gold hasn't really done anything. Neither has silver. If you take the peak, they're both down from the peak. But when you think about what have we done? We've doubled the debt. Now we're sitting in this horrible predicament where 10 years ago, Social Security was going to run out of money. What were they saying? 2042. Now they're saying 2031. And of course, wait till this year's numbers come in, right? Because of COVID. Social Security, and I've been saying this for a while, 2025. And again, there's a lot of misnomers in there because Medicare and Medicaid actually run out first. So the actuary can lie to us and say, whoa, Social Security is not going to run out, and they give you a better date. But they know, well, Medicare and Medicaid are going to run out in 2024 or 2023. And what they're going to do, they already know what they're going to do. They're just going to take a piece of, they've got 12.4%. And let's just say they say, okay, well, 4% of that tax, or, I guess it wouldn't be 4, probably be more like 7% or 8% of that tax goes to Social Security, right? And this amount goes to Medicare and Medicaid, and my numbers are way off. Social Security is probably about 5%. But what they'll do is they'll just change the number a little bit. Okay, which one isn't broke right now? Social Security. Okay, well, let's just give them 2 or 3 or 4 or 5/10 less, so we can keep Medicare and Medicaid solvent. And all of a sudden, when they do that, all of a sudden the Social Security timeline comes way in. And I'm telling you, 2025, maybe 2026, maybe. You saw a bond market in about a week add 0.5%. Right, went from 1 to 1.5, 1.1 to 1.6. And the fear that it caused. And now you start looking down the road, and you're like, man, they can really never allow for rates to rise. But we also know that I don't see that we can keep it at 0 or near 0 forever, can we? Can it go on forever? That's what they'd like us to believe. That's what Warren Buffett wants to believe. I want to tell you right now That sounds pretty ridiculous. And I would prepare for it the other way. Over the weekend, my wife and I went to Jerry's. It's a furniture place. Got a big warehouse in downtown Phoenix in the shadier part of town. But they got great prices. You know, we're remodeling the office here in Phoenix as well as the one up in Colorado. And so we were buying some office furniture. And I highly recommend Jerry's because my wife she's conscientious, doesn't want to spend more than we have to. And we were down there Sunday. And it was so funny is the two guys that were there, and I won't say their names, but the two guys that were there, I mean, they were fantastic. Super nice people. Really good at their job. And we had picked out the stuff that we had wanted and all that stuff. And then I was actually on the phone with Jason. So I had to step outside because, like I said, we're actually, the remodel in Colorado is already happening. The one in Phoenix, we're probably still a good 4 or 5 weeks away because it just takes that long to get flooring. It takes like 6 weeks. It's incredible. But anyhow, my wife was doing that. They were, printing out the invoice and all that, and she told them our company name, and the guy just stops dead, and she goes, "Patriot Trading Group from the radio show?" And my wife's like, "Yeah." And she goes, "We listen to you every day." He's like, one of the guys like, "Yeah, I'm a customer," and she's like, "Yeah, that's Joe outside right now." So shout out to Jerry's, you guys. My wife is happy, and you know how it goes. Happy wife, happy life. So she's happy. I'm happy. If you're and they have new furniture, used furniture, filing cabinets, which are tough to get. They've got them down there. Check them out. Shout out to Cathay Athens in Colorado this Friday. We're going to have a movie night at the radio station in Colorado. Cathay Athens is going to be catering the event. They're doing it out of their own pocket. So you guys up there on the Front Range, make sure you stop by Cathay Athens and start giving them your business. Big supporters of the radio station. That event is going to be from 5 to 9 p.m. I know they have a movie that's going to play. I think it's They Live, something like that. Jason will give you more details. And we're actually going to do a bunch of those. I know the Subway in Johnstown's already committed to sponsor the next event. And then I think it's Dominic's Pizza is going to do the event after that. I mean, so a lot of great things happening. But I meant to say that early on. I forgot all about it until just right now. So back to the bond market. This is getting kind of, something's got to give. So we had last week, you remember, we had this horrible 7-year auction, which really fueled the fire. The bid to cover was the lowest on record. In other words, a failed auction would be, hey, we're auctioning off. In this case, that 7-year auction was $62 billion. And if not enough people had bid on it, that'd be a failed auction. You got to have at least $62 billion worth of bids. But the amount of interest that they had to give up, and then they had a bad 5-year auction. So remember, they auction them every single day. Now, obviously, they've gotten control of it for now. A lot of people, me included, think the bond market's going to give them another test before the end of the year. Get ready to see it again. Because unless the central bank is going to monetize the debt even faster, and I'm telling you right now, that's exactly what they're going to do. Very, 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 very bullish for gold and silver. The $120 billion they're buying right now isn't enough. It's not enough. Look at what, follow the money. You know where the money's been going, and I know, listen, we got a rally here today, and Wall Street's at near all-time highs, and that's all wonderful. I hope it continues. I think it will. I've said it I don't know how many times. I think Wall Street will rally for most of the year this year because we're going to spend a lot of money. But the investment dollars, there's been a major shift, has been going to China. And when I say a major shift, it's been very gradual. 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, very gradual. 1% here, 1% there. Now, we're talking about China's had record capital inflows. In other words, people are looking at our stock market. They're looking at our debt market. And then they're looking at China's stock market and China's debt market. And they're making a decision to allocate. Now, I don't want to make it sound like they're not putting any money here. They are. They are. But the amount of money being allocated to China has increased significantly. I expect that to continue. China gives you positive rates on their debt. They do. They're doing it without increasing the money supply. We can't say the same. We're doing it where we're deliberately holding back interest rates that should be significantly higher than this, because if we didn't, right, the tsunami of debt would engulf us. And, of course, I think it's going to engulf us no matter what. That's why I think gold and silver are the win. This is how we're going to bring America back. That's my call. Patriot Radio News Hour, final segment coming up. 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour. The 10-year note's starting to come back now, 144. Gold is off the highs today, 1733 right now, up about 4.5. Silver's up almost 50 cents today, 26.87. The Dow's up 600 points. As a little bit of relief from the bond, another bond tantrum, if you will. I'm pretty confident that the central bank is going to be forced to monetize our debt faster. 1.5% is not great. I mean, historically, it's dirt cheap. Of course, it shows you how little our money. Think about this. A higher yielding bond used to signify strength. Now it's, we can't handle it. They were so worried about 2%. I think that the central bank is going to, I don't know what the number is going to be, $200 billion a month for now. They're at 120. It's going to have to go higher. And I think what we're going to see is by the time we get ready to change the currency over, I don't know what they'll be buying. $500 billion? I don't know. I mean, think about it. 120, but that's a month. The debt market now is, like I said, we got $28 trillion in debt, but about $7 trillion of that's in trust funds and private hands. The other $21 trillion is public, and the problem is Social Security is rating that fund faster and faster. That's a lot of debt coming to the market, so be prepared. Get your financial house in order. All the specials are at allamericangold.com. $20 gold pieces at 21.20. We got the $10 pieces, which I think is the buy of the day right now at 1,050. Silver's on sale as well, the junk silver that we have. But I'm going to say this. Wait another day. If you have to buy today, do it. Great. We'll give you the base. Wait another day. Let's see what gold does. The premiums are high. There's nothing out there. Nothing. Right, we call every single day. Today we called the Bullion Bank today. This was the day that maybe we could order 2021 Silver Eagles. Nope. Don't got any. Still don't have any. We asked them, got any gold? Nope. So this is why you're seeing premiums are high. But again, the paper markets well behind the physical markets. And so far, no drop in demand whatsoever. Wait a day. I'm working on some things. If things go right tomorrow, I'll have a better deal. How's that? 800-951-0592. I know I'm in sales and I'm trying to get you not to do it. Just wait a day. Wait a day. The girls are bummed now. They're great. No one's going to call. What are we going to do all day? I know. Hey, listen, God bless everybody. Have a great day. We'll be back tomorrow.